I fear more warriors are gathering at the war camps.
Then maybe it's time we took the fight to them. Stuart, you stay here with the other women.
Oh, yes. I think my skills are best put to use here.
Stuart's not that smart. Well, anyway, now that you've had a good thinking about it, here is my plan. Planetside 2 has 3 different continents, each one of them vastly different in terms of environment, in terms of atmosphere from the other 2. So, I'm thinking 3 different fourth factions for the 3 different continents. On Indar, it's a dry desert planet. So I'm thinking worms. I'm thinking tremors. You know, I'm thinking a combination of the spice worms from Dune and the graboids from Tremors. That could be the 4th faction. You know, like during the event, say for example, not like a gigantic mother graboid worm thingy pops up at the crown, but like a whole array of like the whole crown itself gets aesthetically changed to look more like, oh, worms have arisen from beneath it and are now taking over the area. Now we do the server reset, and the worms, instead of like capturing bases, they behave just like graboids do in Tremors. They burrow around in the ground, they detect they detect infantry, right? And then they attack. Now here's how they would attack. They would pop up their heads out of the ground, right? And from their mouth they would spew needles, like, or sharp spines. Sort of, that would do roughly the same amount of damage as, say, like a heavy's assault rifle. You know, except it's like so many spines being spewed. Like, they're gonna be big. I would say they would be as big as Sunderers. You know, with the ability to ram tanks and destroy tanks and just make them as overpowered as possible, because the whole point of this is to drive the 3 human factions to work together. So I would say, like, give a normal graboid the same amount of health you would give a galaxy. Give it like a high velocity, like spine shooting thing out of its mouth, and give it the ability to ram tanks and destroy tanks in the same way a Sunderer would. You know, like, give them armor plating, give them like big teeth, make them blind, obviously. You know, they detect by vibrations or whatever you want to wrap into the lore. Let's see, and you can have like different types of worm creatures for the different, like, you can have flying mosquito-like creatures. I mean, like physical animal, like insect mosquitoes, not like in-game mosquito airships. But you could have like an evolution of worms that evolve to fight in the air. You can have fast runners on the ground, kind of like a Zergling type maneuver, like small fast bugs with sharp fangs and claws that really like to get in close.
Those are British riflemen.
You know, and they would have to move fast. And possibly for the worms themselves, like
find a member of the Black family and kill the rest.
I don't know how with Planetside 2's texturing system, would you be able to show like a cracking ground animation for when the worms are about to burst out of the ground and attack? Because that would be awesome. Because imagine this. You're besieging, say, an amp station or a biolab, and then all of a sudden, from underneath the ground, worms and little insects come up and just start like, rah! They throw a whole wrench in the plan. Like, say, NC is besieging a VS amp station, and all of a sudden worms start attacking both players on both sides indiscriminately. Like, here's where the tension could come in. Like, players on either side could either band together and fight against the worms, or one side could kind of like let the worms wipe out the opposition while avoiding them, or both sides can try to avoid the worms altogether. You know, like, that would add so much flavor. That would add so much additional stratagem. The metagame would change fundamentally just because you have a fourth AI faction. I would love it. And for, like, Esamir, the ice planet, you could have, like, abominable snowmen. They would play relatively different from the worms. Like, they would still have the option to either, like, burrow under the ice or retreat to, like, I don't know, ice caves or something like that, and they would attack with melee or with, like, simple bow, crude weaponry or something like that. For Amaresh, the more kind of like temperate climate continent, I would say something along the lines of Aliens, like Gene Roddenberry's Aliens. Gene Roddenberry did not Gene Roddenberry. The Aliens, the oh shoot, I'm derping out right now. You know, from the Alien series. I forget who wrote Aliens though. But yeah, you could have it like that for Amrish, where they only attack at night. You can make like Amrish the horror, like the fear continent, where, you know, one night, I mean, like once or twice a week on random days, as soon as night falls on Amrish, boom, they pop out. And for however long night is, I think it's like 15 minutes or so, you could just have random aliens like just attacking. They can crawl on the ceilings, they can drop down on you, they can, you know, slash you to bits. The mechanics would be the same as Aliens, but obviously because of copyright, you can rework them to however you like. Because that would be amazing. I would love it. I would actually move from Indar to Amrish in order to play in that kind of situation where suddenly the sun's going down, tension's going up, because I know like aliens are gonna pop out of nowhere. They can pop out of the ground, jump out of the trees. You know, they're gonna crawl on the outside of the biolabs and crawl inside and just wreak havoc on whatever humans are there. You know, just slashing, crawling, spitting, all that kind of thing. Or maybe on like Esamir, the ice planet. If I'm in a tank convoy driving across a frozen lake, and all of a sudden, boom, they leap out of the ice, they start like rolling down giant ice boulders and, you know, shooting primitive bows and arrows that are hefty enough to punch through modern shields. Bam! That'd be awesome. But anyway, it's probably a pipe dream. It's probably a pipe dream for me because, come on, Sony Online Entertainment, they're never gonna do this. This is far too much fun. No, I'm not accusing Sony Online Entertainment of not being fun. It's just, it would honestly be too much trouble. But it would be so fantastic if it happened though. I'll be so happy. Please make it so. But yeah. You guys, you can tell I've been playing Planetside 2 a lot. I think I docked like, let me double check. I've docked 59 hours on it total. Not a lot, as far as games go, but it's still a fair amount.
Yes, he was.
Oh man. Now I want to play again. Unfortunately though, since the last patch, there have been a lot of bugs, a lot of errors. I've been getting white screens a lot on the ATI Radeon, or the AMD Radeon 7850. I've been getting random white screens. Sometimes when I spawn, my shield is registering as empty, and unless you're a heavy assault, you're pretty much screwed. Because for heavy assault, a workaround for that would be just activating your force shield, and that resets your shield bar automatically. I don't know why, it does, and it's a workaround for me. So I would recommend Sony Online Entertainment fix those bugs first before tackling something like adding a fourth faction. A fourth AI faction, mind you. This is NPC, because you want them to be as overpowered as possible, for reasons stated earlier. What else would I like in Planetside 2? Oh, I would like in-game radios. You know, like radios in mosquitoes or sunderers or tanks or something like that. Kind of like Battlefield Vietnam. Yeah, kind of like Battlefield Vietnam. Because when I played Battlefield Vietnam, all of the vehicles had radios in them that you could activate that played random songs from that era. I don't know if Battlefield still does that though, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, so imagine just rolling across the plains of Indar in a tank while listening to, I don't know, Metallica or something like that, or like having an in-game radio where you can play your own music in. You know, you would be the only person able to hear that, but being able to create a separate music folder and have that in play as a radio in the game, that would be fantastic. I would love that a lot. A lot. In fact, if you guys made me pay for that, I'd probably pay at most $10 for an in-game radio. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there would love to have an in-game radio in Planetside 2. Especially a lot of the flyers, because I imagine like just hearing lock on, beep 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 beep, boom, gets pretty boring after a while. So maybe like have a little Ride of the Valkyries, or that bee thing, or even even Rebecca Black with Friday. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be one person out there who is gonna be blaring Friday through his microphone. I'm pretty sure there are people who already do that incidentally. But yeah, that's my list of ideas, and that's what I've been thinking about for the past week. Oh, Happy Lunar New Year! Hey, that's why there was no RTS Saturday last week, or no Maybe Play Monday this week, because I was home for New Year's. So, and using that home internet connection, I can just barely, you know, communicate with people. So, forget uploading anything. So, yeah, that's why there have been no videos, because Lunar New Year.
The British are defeated.
So,
the base is ours.
Happy New Year! And I'll see you guys next week. This has been SuperVin47, and you've been watching RTS Saturdays.
Why would British soldiers attack their own colony? Where's my uncle?
They took him. Went north.
The raids were just a distraction. The soldiers meant to draw the garrison away from the colony and then attack.
But why take Stuart?
I know why. The Circle. My family has powerful enemies.
Then my tribe and my sister may also be in danger. We must get back to New England.